Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is May 14th, and today's episode covers information about a whale joining the Rocket Pool smoothing pool. We've also had news of Notional offering amazing yield on rETH. Now, in Ethereum news, we've got news of the latest round of the Ethereum Protocol Fellowship, and we've got some bad news about the spot ETF for Ethereum. For the ETH token and what might happen. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so the first news is this whale joined the smoothing pool. So a whale with 217 validators joined the smoothing pool, and I think this person is now the biggest node operator in the smoothing pool. Let's have a look. 217 validators, of course, is a really big amount, and let's see what's going on with that. So the smoothing pool this time, they're not actually the biggest. The biggest one has 333, but now the smoothing pool has 1,849 nodes, and it also has 13,585 validators out of 24,554. That is actually like quite decent. 55% of validators in Rocket Pool are in the smoothing pool, and 76% of nodes are in the smoothing pool. So that's really cool. But yeah, the biggest one is 333 validators. The smoothing pool just makes sense. Like, it might seem like, if you're a large node operator, you might not get benefits of the smoothing pool, but as long as there are more validators in the smoothing pool than the number of validators you have, provided you make up less than 50% of the smoothing pool, you will actually odds on gain from being in the smoothing pool rather than lose out from being in the smoothing pool. So that's actually really cool. So smoothing pool still works. Okay, yesterday we had the Upgrade Master raffle, and this raffle is now finished, and we got the winners. So the number one winner was Woe, who got 10 RPL, and will get his name on the Upgrade Master POAP. We also had Dukey, Core Ethereum.eth, and Halululo.eth also winning 5 RPL each. So that was really great to see. Sadly, I didn't win. I was hoping that I would. I really do want to be the Upgrade Master, but maybe I'll have to wait until the next round for me to win that. But this was really great. So of course, this was the raffle taking place for people who upgrade their nodes within the first normally 48 hours of an upgrade going live. And you get a pot for that. The pot becomes an entry ticket to the Upgrade Master raffle, and a whole lot of people entered. I think there were over 50 people who entered, with over 250 tickets. So it was pretty good stuff. Okay, next we have this upgrade from Notional here, who are doing some amazing stuff with rETH. So here they say Notional provides the full spectrum of rETH yield opportunities. You can get passive up lending yield, only lending yield, you can get leveraged yield, and you can get max degenerate leveraged point farming yield. So let's have a look at what they do. If you just want to deposit your rETH, you can get 13.7% APY. So here it says, for the passive earner, want to guaranteed yield, lend rETH fixed for 1 month at 13% APY. Want more flexibility, provide liquidity for 15.7% APY and earn some note incentives. Pro tip, you can borrow against your rETH deposits also. It's really cool. Then they say for the leverager, if you like the 15.7%, then you can get up to 9 times leverage with that. So this strategy has low liquidity. Larger users are better off with the passive earning option for now. And then for the points farmer, you can, it says deposit into Notional's unique leverage vault to earn ETHify and Eigenlayer points with up to 7.5% leverage, 7.5 times leverage. And then this is strong demand. So this strategy is currently maxed out. They need more rETH lenders on Notional to boost the capacity. So if Notional has lots of rETH yield opportunities, but they're still bootstrapping, you're looking for yield on your rETH, Notional is the place to be. So it's always great to give DeFi companies who are heavily building with Rocket Pool tokens to shout out Rocket Fuel. Okay, next we got news from RocketDock here, and RocketDock, as you might know from last week, had some issues with their RPL rewards and then started up a new validator because of that. Well, that new validator got a proposal within 300 attestations. So huge congrats to Rocket Doc for that. That's really cool. I like what he said here. He said, my plan of exiting the validator that had 150,000 attestations with no proposal and spinning up in the new one worked. So yeah, that's some pretty good odds. And if you have a look at the luck screenshot for his validator, it's 2,817% luck compared to just the general 100% like expected luck. So Rocket Doc's doing pretty well with that validator. So huge shout out goes to Rocket Doc. Okay, next we've got some staking news now. So here we have NodeSet saying that they've uploaded their first set of keys to StakeWise. Looks like they will have 47 participants in their beta for StakeWise. This says we'll be monitoring progress to ensure things go smoothly over the next day or so. If all goes well, you should see your node start to automatically deploy validators soon. So this is the StakeWise beta on Liquity, and this is the product that NodeSet are launching in collaboration with Gravitar on StakeWise. So the way that it works is Gravitar is bringing the ETH, NodeSet is bringing the node operators, and then StakeWise is the platform on which they were going to build out this solution. So this is now testing on Liquity, and it looks like it's going smoothly. So huge congrats to NodeSet for getting closer to launching their first product. And it looks like Constellation, the one that they are integrating with Rocket Pool, won't be far behind. But I think NodeSet are trying to build towards like a one-stop shop for node operators, and trying to be a place where if you need node operation services, you will just come to NodeSet and they will send out their validators to you. Okay, next we've got news of a new client update, and today's client update is from Bisu, and this is version 24.5.1. And it says there's a lot in this release. Notably, they get early access to SnapSync servers, reduction in storage size of receipt, and optional version fields for type 1 and type 2 transactions. And there's 2 known issues that they're working on, and there's some breaking changes as well with databases and some network issues with Snapper Checkpoint, and then the forest pruning has been removed as well. So keep that in mind with this. And then they've got some more breaking changes coming in future versions, and some issues as well. So I guess Bisu team are working on a whole lot of different things. One of the things that came up was that some users have been having low P account issues, and Bisu are saying that there is a fix in place for that, but it will not be in this version, but it should be in the next version. So if you are suffering from low P account on your Bisu client, then keep that in mind. Hopefully it should get fixed soon. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now. So here Josh Davis has news of the new Ethereum Protocol Fellowship, and this says applications are open for the 5th cohort of the Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. The EPF provides a pathway for aspiring protocol contributors to make meaningful contributions to Ethereum. So it says for EPF5, we've added an extra month, so that's 5 months now instead of 4 months. Another in-person event which will happen at ETHCC, and amazing new resource, EPF Wiki. So I covered the EPF Wiki on Rocket Fuel a few weeks ago. So here Josh says there's so many amazing participants and contributions in the last cohort. I'm thrilled to see what EPF5 has in store for us this year. And then saying that they're going to be hosting a town hall on the 21st. So they'll have, you'll get details and questions answered about the program. And it says the door is hilariously wide open. EPF can show you how to step through. So if you are all interested in working with Ethereum, or trying to become a protocol developer or some kind of core contributor to Ethereum, this is a great path towards doing that. You get training, you get, you make amazing relationships, and you can then leverage that towards fantastic work that you would probably love to do. So this is pretty awesome, and make sure that you apply soon if you are interested in that. Okay, next we've got some bad news about the spot Ethereum ETF for ETH. And here Scott Johnson says, I'm aware this is widely considered a possibility, but this is your official notice that the SEC is considering the security question for ETH in this upcoming spot ETF order. Note that this question was never, as far as I can tell, asked regarding spot futures BTC ETF product. So there's a couple of quotes here. So pursuant to blah, blah, blah act, the commission is providing notice of the grounds for disapproval under consideration. And another highlighted section here says, given the nature of the underlying assets held by the trust, the exchange properly filed its proposal to list and trade the shares under NASDAQ rule, commodity-based trust shares. So I think what he's saying here is that the SEC is likely going to let's actually let Scott explain it. He says the SEC is required by blah 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 law to provide notice of the grounds for disapproval under consideration. This question cited above was asked and noticed of all the ETH filings in their RFCs, and I believe never for a BTC filing. The obvious purpose is to potentially deny on the basis that these spot filings are improperly filed as commodity-based trust shares and do not qualify if they're holding a security. Again, widely suspected, but this is more meat that I'm not sure many are aware of. So it looks like what's happening here is the SEC is starting to ask questions about whether or not the product, the ETH tokens in the trusts, are they commodities or securities? The fact that they're asking that question about them being commodities looks like that they're going to try to argue that they're securities. Now, here Eric Balchunas as well gives more information. He says the SEC asked the commenters regarding the ETH spot ETFs whether these filers have properly filed their ETF listing proposal as commodities. This shows the SEC is perhaps considering to say ETH is a security in their denial. Our odds of approval remain the same, slim to none. Nice job of Scott Johnson finding this was literally buried 50 feet deep in a pile of legalese. Now, what's key to know here is this comment, like Topher says, if the SEC cannot legally claim XRP as security, there's no way in fuck they can claim that ETH is security. So the idea, and this goes back to something that that Anthony Cesano was saying as well, is that the SEC is going scorched earth with this approach, and they are basically telling you that they don't care what happens down the line, but right now they're going to deny it. And if they deny it based on correlation, between the spot and the futures markets, and there not being enough correlation for the last 2 years, then that will change in 6 months' time. If they deny it based on security, then the courts basically will decide that ETH is a commodity, not a security, just like they said that XRP is not a security on the secondary market. And if that's the case, then once that is clarified, then these should be able to go through as well. So here, Ethereum Maximus says, be it May or August or even 2025, a spot ETH ETF is coming, whether the SEC likes it or not. The courts have to force the SEC's hand. Then if the courts have to force the SEC's hand, then so be it. This is a matter of debate, and it's not a question of if. Trade the ETH spot ETF at your peril. So the idea that Ethereum Maximus here is saying is that, like, whatever legal way they try to use to deny the ETFs at this instance, it's not going to be something that holds up in courts. And once it gets to the courts, then the courts is going to force it to reverse, in which case the ETFs will be approved. So there's definitely a lot to consider here. And then Scott Johnson, kind of like painting the positive, he says, in 10 days' time, we'll have in all likelihood at least 30 plus pages of analysis from the SEC regarding whether it considers ETH spot ETF to be consistent with the requirements of the Exchange Act. This will be a final reviewable agency action. They will need to navigate not just the framework that they laid out when approving the 33 Act BTC futures and spot products, but also the limitations placed on them by the DC Circuit following the GBTC ruling, all under the looming spectre of poor Biden polling numbers. There are many paths that the SEC could take here, and all of them will be extraordinarily consequential. And then there was a question about Larry Fink and JP Morgan saying that even if ETH is a security, it shouldn't prohibit there being an ETF. And Scott says, I think he's correct that a security could be in an ETF. The problem is that the SEC is giving no registration path for anyone to register as a security with the SEC, and because of that, it will be denied. And then there's some other comments here as well that you can read if you are interested. And then Hayden Adams kind of picks up on some of the political aspects here, and he says Hillary campaigning in red states instead of swing states level miscalculation from Biden camp, thinking crypto will be irrelevant in 2024 election and letting the SEC and Senator Warren wage total war, both in terms of votes and money. Republicans smell blood in the water and are turning hard towards crypto. Not much time for Biden to save it. Anyone close to him or Dem leadership should be expressing how serious this is and pushing for immediate reversal on this approach to crypto, public support plan, and reining in the SEC and Warren. So I think what Hayden's saying here is that crypto is going to be a bigger issue than the Democrats are thinking. The poll numbers are already looking bad, and they're going to be getting worse. And if the Democrats want to engage with crypto voters and try to win over some crypto voters, they'll have to start doing that quickly. And I guess one of the reason why I'm talking about it is because if they approve the Ethereum spot ETF, if the ETH spot ETF, then that might be some ways towards winning over some crypto voters. Let's see. Okay, next we got news out of the Netherlands about the Alexey Pertsev case, and the judgment was in that Alexey has been sentenced to 64 months in prison, and this is based on money laundering charges. And Alexey, for those of you who don't know, was the Tornado Cash developer. Here Lawrence has some feedback saying, I'm actually angry to the point of feeling a bit sick at this. You can't touch funds, you can't custody funds, you can't stop funds, you can barely look at funds, guilty of money laundering. So omissions should carry no liability with no one to establish the duty of care towards. He says, fuck you, basically, to the courts. He says Tornado Cash functions the way the defendant and co-founder developed Tornado Cash, so the operation is completely their responsibility. Basically saying that because they developed it, it's their responsibility. If the defendant had wanted to have the possibility to take action against abuse, then he should have built it in, but he did not. Tornado Cash does not pose any barrier for people with criminal assets who want to launder them. This is why the court regards the defendant guilty of the money laundering activities as charged. So even though Alexey couldn't touch any of that, he got caught, found guilty. Here, Lefteris digs into the ruling as well. It says the tool was used by criminal. Alexey didn't do anything to stop it. Tool has no legitimate non-criminal use. Accuse him of criminal intent and arrogance. 64 months imprisonment, and then they took his car and crypto as well. And the crypto is because the police found private keys on the computer, and it looks like they took the crypto, but I don't know about the full details of that. But anyway, here we have Jason Gottlieb, and he says that we have a long, sad history of national security being abused to deprive us of many liberties. There's a straight and terrible line from the Alien and Sedition Acts to the Japanese internment camps to the Patriot Act to the prosecution of coders of neutral software. Once the government proclaims we have an enemy, like France in 1798, Japan in 1941, Al-Qaeda in 2001, North Korea now, courts are bent over backwards to allow the government to trample free speech and other rights in the name of national security. Today, one coder of Tornado Cash was convicted in the Netherlands, another faces trial in the US. Both governments invoke the boogeyman of North Korea to prosecute people who wrote and released software with undeniably legal uses because someone else misused it. We don't hold Microsoft responsible when drug gangs use Excel to keep track of their profits. We don't arrest Apple executives when criminal plot crimes using FaceTime. We don't prosecute the New York Stock Exchange because people can use it for insider trading. Code is not illegal. Misusing that code may be, but the code itself is not illegal. And then Jason goes on to explain more ideas. The idea is if Colt sells you a gun in the US that is not illegal. If you use that gun to murder someone, you're the one who's committing the crime. The Colt doesn't get criminal charges because of that. So it's the same idea here, and it's absolutely farcical that this has happened. It's disgusting that Alexey has been found guilty of this. The whole court case was a scam. And word that came out of the case showed over and over again that the the judges and the prosecution were arguing in bad faith. Sorry, the prosecution was arguing in bad faith, and the judges were accepting their arguments, and it was a stitch-up job, as we say in England. Okay, moving on to more SEC trash. Here, Hayden Adams was in New York, and he noticed a taxi cab with unicorn ad on the top of it. So he says unicorn logo, uni prefix, likely trying to confuse people with a similar name to another coin. Of course, the Uniswap Uni token. Celeb endorsements, website that promises high returns, ads everywhere currently on all the taxis in New York City. I would bet any amount of money that when they're not being investigated by the SEC. So basically, this is like one of those Ethereum Ethereum Max fork that came up a couple of years ago, which was a huge scam, and it had huge celebrity backing and like promotion and stuff. I think Kim Kardashian actually ended up having to pay a fine for being involved with that. It's just the same idea again, basically, according to Hayden here, except as people started digging into what this unicorn company is, it turns out that Unicorn was formerly known as Transparent Business Inc. and is actually registered with the SEC. And here, DCF God says you can't make this shit up. And then Evan says the corruption of the SEC with regard to Prometheum will be exposed in due time. It comes from the top. Here, Exhibit A is a coin called Unicorn with a unicorn logo. Couldn't possibly be meant to confuse with another popular protocol. It promises 9 million % returns, is plastered on New York City cabs, and is somehow registered with the SEC. Yeah, make that make sense. And then Eric Connor here shows that this is a quote tweeting Hayden Adams. And this is a Unicorn's website saying the crypto market is rallying. Bitcoin grew 9 million % during the last decade. The asset-backed Unicorn is well positioned to outperform it. For a limited time, you can acquire Unicorns with 5 years to pay for them. And here, Eric says the SEC let Unicorn, a total scam promising 9 million % returns, to register with them. Meanwhile, they're going after real companies like Uniswap, Robinhood, and countless others. You can't make this shit up. The corruption of the SEC knows no bounds. So the main thing here to keep in mind is that a lot of these companies that have gotten Wells notices from the SEC have asked the SEC over and over again, what can we do to register? How can we register? Give us a path to registering. And over again, the SEC has hand waved and made excuses and saying everything is clear and said bullshit like that basically. And what they're doing on the side is letting companies like Promethean and now Unicorn register when they really shouldn't be, and there's a lot of question marks. Here, actually, Jacob here gives some information saying at first glance, I don't believe the SEC approved anything. The company just filed for a Reg D exemption, but haven't dug in. So maybe that's not, maybe they are registered. I'm not sure. Well, maybe there's a question mark about them being registered or not. But still, regardless, go after the real bad actors instead of potentially registering them. Okay, linked to the Tornado Cash stuff we were talking about earlier, there's a new privacy protocol in town, and this one's called Oxbow. And Oxbow said, what if on-chain privacy was only for the good guys? Good morning, friends, and welcome to the new era of on-chain privacy. Welcome to Oxbow or 0xbow. And their little caption on Twitter says, Oxbow is the DeFi sector's response to growing need for balanced approach to privacy and regulatory compliance. So they go on with saying, in the world where bad guys routinely exploit our DeFi protocols and chains and abuse public privacy tools, we provide the first-in-class solution for enabling on-chain privacy while keeping users away from laundering of illicit gains. Check it out here. And there's a link. And then they say that, Oxbow is an enabler for the new era of privacy pools. Our work implements the published research of Vitalik Buterin and Amin Soleimani and others in last year's blockchain privacy and regulatory compliance towards practical equilibrium. Read it here. So there's a paper basically, and they're implementing that work now. So you can go in and read the thread and find out how they do it. There's some questions about what is a good guy, or who are the good guys and the bad guys. But I guess Oxbow are trying to answer that by showing here membership proof and exclusion proofs. And you can read all about that by looking at the tweet thread and reading the actual paper. But we need more privacy in our crypto dealings. And we need it to be understood and shown that this is actually a good thing and financial privacy is not a bad thing. Here, Ryan Sean Adams talks about it, saying none of the good guys in crypto can have on-chain privacy because bad guys might use it to do bad things. This is the crux of the argument the US government is making when they arrest crypto privacy devs. See Tornado Cash. Never mind that this is an absurdly high standard for any tool in existence, e.g. chainsaws are illegal unless you can ensure your chainsaw can't be used by a chainsaw murderer. But what if we are able to deliver this on this absurdly high standard? What if through the magic of cryptography we could filter out North Korea and terrorist groups and baddies and give on-chain privacy only to the good guys? You think they'd still make crypto privacy illegal? We're about to find out if the emperor has any clothes. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, next we've got news of Liquity, and Liquity here is a long-standing stablecoin. They have LUSD as their stablecoin, so they are you deposit your ETH into Liquity and you get the LUSD token in return. It's a nice model that people like. It's completely unstoppable and immutable, and it's got all those great attributes that people love in crypto. Sadly, the size is not size, but it's as much as it can probably handle right now. Anyway, they've got a new version 2 coming out, so it says it's time for the next evolution of CDPs. Liquity Protocol version 2 white paper is out. Link at the end. Keep the decentralization ethos and adding. So users set interest rates, so it's going to change the way the interest rates can work. You can use LSTs as collateral. You use better capital efficiency and protocol incentivized liquidity. So they're building a bunch of things into this. And then here they're supporting multi-collateral, including rETH, I believe, from Rocket Pool, which is really cool. And then they've got they go on to explain how you'll use multi-collateral, how users will be able to set rates, and also they've been talk about better redemption control as well, how that's looking, and interest rate delegation, and a whole bunch of other things, and getting yield as well on your bold. So if you are interested in this, definitely go and have a look. Liquity, of course, is a great product, and people in the Rocket Pool community really love it. The GMC, we swap part of our monthly RPL tokens into LUSD, so definitely check this out. Okay, next we've got a positive spin on some of the gas fees being really low that you might have been seeing recently. So Hildobby here has a tweet saying Ethereum gas is under 5 GUE. This is the lowest daily average since February 2020. So basically, pretty much exactly 4 years ago. And this was just as we were coming out of the bear market and out of the bull market and out of the bear market and going into the bull market in 2020. But Liam says with mainnet gas currently so low, it's a great time to bridge some funds over to an L2 if you haven't already. It won't stay this low forever. So we've seen that gas prices can go up really quickly on mainnet, and then things get expensive really quickly on mainnet. Right now things are dirt cheap. If you want to do things like setting up a multi-sig wallet like a safe, now's a really good time to do that. You can do it for under $10. If you want to open some positions on things like Liquity, Maker, Aave, etc., DeFi, in like computation intensive DeFi positions, now's the time to do that because it's really cheap. Not financial advice, of course, you can take the risks that you want. If you want to bridge your assets over to layer 2, now's the time to do that. Transactions can cost less than $1 at times, which is amazing. So if you are interested in moving your crypto, doing on-chain stuff, now is the time for you to go and do that, because gas is dirt cheap. I think you can get transactions through at 3 GUE or even 2.5 GUE at certain times in the night at US times. So there's a lot of positives there in that sense. Like, actually go and use Ethereum now, it's usable. Okay, in other news, so some of you have probably been watching that the GameStop token GME is flying again, all thanks to a single image posted by Roaring Kitty, and then the over billions of dollars of shorts that got squeezed because of it. Well, what's been happening is that as the trading has happened, every time the token goes up a certain percentage in value, the stock gets halted and all trading stops. So here JC is saying that GameStop halted on stock exchanges is a demonstration of the value of DeFi. The game is rigged on stock exchanges. Don't liquidate my friends or I'll halt your meme stock. You cannot stop a trade on Uniswap or AMMs on chain. DeFi is better than TradFi. And I think this is absolutely true that, DeFi is unstoppable. You can't put in these trades, so halt things, mechanisms, for better or worse in these protocols. And yeah, like that just tells you that crypto is definitely, the rails or crypto rails are much better than TradFi rails. And we've seen that in so many different ways. And finally, I'm going to end today's episode with some good news for myself. And I just became an uncle again overnight. And that's for the 11th time now. So I have 11 nieces and nephews, which is pretty cool, but a whole football team's worth. So on that note, thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.